What if I told you that cannabis could bring you closer to God? A sacred plant, a doorway to higher consciousness. That's what many believe. From ancient rituals to modern spirituality, cannabis has been praised as a tool for expanding awareness, calming the mind, and even unlocking hidden parts of the soul. But here's what most won't tell you. Not everything that opens the mind leads to the light. We live in a world obsessed with shortcuts. Instant peace, instant healing, instant enlightenment. We want the feeling of transcendence without the discipline. We want to experience the divine without having to surrender. And so we reach for external things, for something to silence the pain, for something to feel something. But the soul doesn't awaken through smoke. It awakens through stillness, through silence, through fire. Padre Pio didn't use cannabis. He didn't need to. His visions, his ecstasies, his spiritual gifts, they didn't come from altered states. They came from prayer, from sacrifice, from nights spent in agony, offering every breath to God. He didn't chase God with his mind. He met him with his wounds. So before you trust anything that feels spiritual, ask yourself, is this opening your soul, or just distracting your mind? This journey isn't about judgment, it's about discernment. Because not all light comes from heaven, and not every high lifts you toward truth. In a time where everyone is chasing spiritual tools, Padre Pio became a tool in God's hands. He didn't need incense to feel calm. He didn't need sound healing, breath work, or cannabis to reach altered states. He didn't search for the divine because he belonged to it. What people often forget is that Padre Pio lived in constant suffering. His body bore the stigmata, open wounds that bled for 50 years. He spent nights in agony, whispering prayers no one heard, crying tears no one saw. And yet, he never asked to be relieved, because he believed that true closeness to God came through surrender, not stimulation. Today, we're sold a version of spirituality that feels good, soft, accessible. But what if real transformation doesn't feel good at all? Padre Pio wasn't seeking a moment of peace. He was allowing himself to be consumed, so that what remained was only God. He experienced bilocation. He read souls. He had visions so powerful they left his body trembling. But all of it came after crushing silence, after suffering, after giving up everything he once thought he was. No plant gave him that. No chemical opened those doors. It was prayer, discipline, obedience, love. And that's the part many don't want to hear. That the divine isn't always found in what elevates your mood, but in what breaks your ego. Cannabis may relax your mind, but what about your pride, your past, your hidden pain? Padre Pio didn't run from those things. He walked right into the fire, barefoot, blindfolded, and full of faith. That's why he didn't just feel God. He became a living encounter. Forma, if this is already stirring something inside you, comment below. I want real fire, not false light. and subscribe for more truths the world prefers to ignore. Padre Pio didn't use cannabis. He didn't need to. His visions, his ecstasies, his spiritual gifts, they didn't come from altered states. They came from prayer, from sacrifice, from nights spent in agony, offering every breath to God. He didn't chase God with his mind. He met him with his wounds. So before you trust anything that feels spiritual, ask yourself, is this opening your soul or just distracting your mind? This journey isn't about judgment. It's about discernment. Because not all light comes from heaven, and not every high lifts you toward truth. One of the most dangerous lies in modern spirituality is this: if it feels good, it must be divine. It's subtle. It sounds harmless. But it's deadly to the soul. Today, people chase anything that produces a shift in their mind, a wave of calm, a moment of expansion, a burst of insight. Whether it's cannabis, crystals, vibrations, or sound baths, the focus is always the same: how it feels. But feelings are not truth, and not everything that feels light comes from heaven. Some of the most seductive things in this world are wrapped in beauty, serenity, and false peace. They quiet your anxiety, but not your pride. They lift your mood, but not your soul. They offer comfort, but never conviction. And that's how the enemy works best. Not by showing up in obvious evil, but by imitating light. Padre Pio was a master of discernment. He knew the difference between divine presence and emotional manipulation. When visions came, he didn't embrace them immediately. He tested them. He prayed. He suffered through them. Because even the most beautiful experience can be a trap. That's why his path was narrow, silent, hidden, and that's why it was real. If cannabis truly brought the soul closer to God, why didn't the saints use it? Why did they fast, suffer, and pray in caves instead of seeking shortcuts? The truth is, we're not just up against distraction. We're up against imitation. And unless we learn to tell the difference, we may fall in love with something that feels holy, but leads us away from heaven. There's a kind of peace that doesn't come from God. It feels quiet, soothing, still, but deep down, it's empty. Many people today aren't looking for truth. They're looking for relief. And so they turn to whatever can give them that: cannabis, music, breathwork, even spiritual rituals, not to grow, but to escape, to numb the ache, to stop the noise. But here's the danger. When the soul is numb, it can't tell the difference between silence and healing. You might think the pain is gone, when in reality, it's just been buried deeper. This is how the modern world teaches us to deal with our wounds. Don't face them. Don't ask where they come from. Just soothe them. Distract them. Silence them with light. But Padre Pio didn't live that way. He didn't hide from suffering. He walked into it. He embraced it. Not because he loved pain, but because he knew that what we avoid controls us, and what we surrender sets us free. Cannabis might soften your anxiety for a few hours, but can it soften your heart? Can it silence the ego? Can it prepare you to forgive? True healing isn't when you feel better. It's when you become better. That's why the saints were dangerous, not because they were perfect, but because they refused to pretend. They didn't escape the fire. They became the fire.
We've been taught to avoid suffering at all costs. Modern spirituality tells us to raise our vibration, follow the joy, and manifest peace. And yet, the saints did the opposite. Padre Pio didn't chase joy, he embraced pain. Not for pain's sake, but because he understood something most people never do. Suffering, when surrendered, doesn't destroy you. It refines you. He didn't try to feel better. He didn't use cannabis, oils, or techniques to calm his mind. He let the storm come, and in that storm, he met God. His stigmata bled for years. His nights were filled with battles no one could see. He faced demonic attacks, spiritual dryness, physical illness, and still, he prayed. He stayed. And through that surrender, something miraculous happened. He didn't just survive the pain, he was transformed by it. That's the secret modern spirituality tries to hide. The soul grows not by escaping the fire, but by walking through it. Cannabis may calm your nerves, but can it teach you how to love your enemy? Can it show you how to hold on to faith when everything falls apart? The saints didn't become holy by accident. They chose the harder path, the silent one, the one that empties you of yourself so you can finally be filled by God. And that's where real awakening begins, not in elevation, in surrender. Spirituality has become a product. You can buy peace now. You can download enlightenment. You can stream a guided meditation while lighting a candle and call it transformation. But the soul knows the difference. It always has. Today, the world sells sacred experiences. Cannabis is repackaged as a tool for connection. People charge hundreds for rituals, retreats, and awakenings. It's soft. It's beautiful. It's shiny. But here's the problem. Truth doesn't sparkle. It breaks you. It remakes you. And that's why the saints were never popular. They weren't entertaining. They didn't go viral. They went inward. Padre Pio didn't wear flowing robes or sell courses on divine energy. He prayed in silence. He cried in pain. He bled quietly while the world looked the other way. And that's what made him dangerous. Not because he spoke loudly, but because his life was too real to ignore. In a world of spectacle, silence is radical. In a culture obsessed with feeling, surrender is offensive. Cannabis might give you a moment of calm, but calm isn't the same as freedom, and comfort isn't the same as conversion. The saints weren't interested in performing. They weren't interested in being followed. They were interested in being emptied. Because when there's nothing left to prove, God finally has room to speak. After everything we've explored, one truth remains. Cannabis may open your mind, but only surrender opens your soul. It's not wrong to want to feel better. It's human to seek comfort, clarity, peace.
peace, but the danger lies in confusing relief with truth and confusing stimulation with sanctity. Cannabis can change your chemistry. It can slow down your thoughts. It can even give you the illusion of stillness, but it cannot do what only grace can do. Padre Pio knew this. He didn't need anything to escape his pain, because he didn't want to escape it. He offered it. He carried it. And in that carrying, he met the living God. He didn't search for light outside himself. He became the light by allowing God to strip him of everything else. That's the journey most people never choose, because it doesn't feel good, because it costs everything, because it's not about how high you go, but how empty you're willing to become. So here's the real question. Are you chasing a feeling or following the truth? Are you looking for an experience or for the transformation that only comes through the cross? There are many doors in this world. Some are golden, glowing, and lined with pleasure. Others are simple, silent, and stained with blood. Only one leads to life. Padre Pio didn't just believe in that path. He lived it. And in doing so, he left us a message. You don't need anything to reach God, except the courage to let go of everything else. Forma. If this message spoke to your soul, write in the comments, I don't want a shortcut. I want the truth. And subscribe, not for more content, but because you're done with noise and ready for something eternal. Because not everything that opens your mind leads to heaven, but everything that breaks your ego brings you home.